So, if we go back 2 videos, and I'll have to get rid of this. We go back 2 videos, the ones on Good Monday Morning Girl Boss. A lot of you, donated super chats. I think we had, like, 26 or 27, and, you guys spent good money on it, but the internet had gone to shit. I don't think it was the internet. I think it was StreamYard, and I went back and I listened to a little bit of it. I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't answer your questions." That's the short version. So, I'm going back to the archives, and we'll answer these, hopefully with good internet. And we're gonna go in reverse order. I did get Dre's. I did get the Plains Warrior, so thank you on that. Brandon Reed, will housing prices go down? No, I think they will be stagnant. I said that in the South, housing is very location dependent, so it can be booming in one place and dying in another. Uh, in the South, it might be because of a overpurchase of Airbnbs. But right now, there's still a housing shortage. I think there's been some permanent life-changing behavior among the would-be home purchasing generation, but I think people have made permanent changes. Very much like dating, where it's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not looking for a house. I'll live with my parents, and I think there are going to be some of them who are permanently changed. That'll put a little bit of downward pressure on houses, but there's still a shortage. And, God, the boomers just keep buying up the damn houses. I'm not joking. I don't know where you getting the money. Where? So, until that shortage ends, I don't see housing prices going down. Um, they can go down in areas, but I think it's cruising. I think it's the new normal. Nationwide speaking, prices I think will plateau. Dre, Cappy's too short to have low self-esteem or have an inflated ego. The great one is a great man, despite what Cappy says. Put some on his name. I shall. Killer Clowns, $2. It's easier to pay for it at this point. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, look, Killer, it's always been easier to pay for it. Because don't know if you guys know this. Every interaction with a human being you pay for with your time at minimum. And they pay with their time investing in you as well. When it comes from men pursuing the opposite sex, yes, you are paying oftentimes with time, emotion / psychological effort, and money. And you ultimately, historically and traditionally, would pay with marriage, where you literally were a slave to your family because you love them and you'd sacrifice your life for them. You always paid for it. And what the baby boomers taught us in the 70s and the 80s is that it's cheaper to rent. And so you could pay for it through marriage and alimony and half your assets, or for a fraction of the cost, go pay for it in Pahrump. Flat scan, $2. What about Kendra Scott? That business makes money. Yes, I looked at this. She does make money. She's an attractive woman. She's been married 80 billion times. Some of those female fashion people, Martha Stewart, there's some people that become celebrities. Dre, $2. The female Spartan is Big Mike. Dre, again, $2. Did you hear about the female Spartan in Spartacus show? The female Spartan is Big Mike. The pimped out platypus, $10. I wonder how many girl bosses will be dropping their new Harleys at Sturgis this weekend. I don't know about your neck of the woods, but Hot Springs is already getting busy. I said that I have an equivalent view of female motorcycle riders, because if you're riding a motorcycle, that means you can drive stick, and you tend to be a higher quality caliber person. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they drop their bikes at equal amounts to the boomer men, with their shiny Harleys and their shiny leathers and their shiny patches they just bought, didn't earn. But it was not that bad. I was at Full Throttle Saloon, which is outside of Sturgis. Sturgis, the town itself, is happening. They got all the tents up, and there are people in town, but traffic was wonderful. Like, now would be the time, if you're a motorcycle rider, to go ride through the Black Hills. Space Cowboy, $2. I did the girl math. It evens out. He's talking about how none of these girl boss companies ever made a profit, or very few of them did. They all invariably filed for bankruptcy, or what's the one? Bumble. Girl back, girl boss. Like, oh, where's the money? Where's the profits? And people were rightly pointing out that who said it's about the profits? They just wanted to play make believe girl boss. It's all about the feels. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can understand the girl math. Who needs audited income statements? Nerds who lift. How can Asian person kick ball if that's a reference? I couldn't say that. Talking about soccer. Mexi Man and Cheese, 10 US dollars. Even when women do real work, the cocktail class ignores them. Lisa Su saved AMD from bankruptcy and made them the leader beating Intel, but it's crickets about her. Yeah, the cocktail class, like the elite, the effeminate, the New Yorker, all those are Inc., Forbes. Oh, you guys should just, all the companies owned by Condé Nast and Fast Company, I'd say you should be ashamed of yourselves, but you're not. You're brown journalists. It's all about, it's gossip. You're all gossip columns. I think the Wall Street Journal is about the only thing that isn't a gossip column. Space Cowboy, $10. If I was a pretty girl and I still had the male brain, I would be a millionaire. I wouldn't have to take my clothes off, perform Nebraska, or be a girl boss. Ladies, just be nice. What too much? And I said before, if they wanted to be nice, they would. Okay, Space Cowboy. If women wanted to be, nothing's stopping them. I mean, they're not being, well, okay, sometimes they are being dicks, but nothing's stopping them from being nice. Nothing's stopping them from growing out their hair long and putting on a dress and looking feminine. Nothing's stopping them, or nothing's forcing them to put tattoos on and pierce whatever. They're choosing to do this. We could argue, well, that society's conditioned them in feminine. Okay, well, look, if I got to fight an ideology because other people are so easily seduced by it, fuck it. Then society doesn't deserve to live, right? Isn't it ridiculous? We have to fight an ideology, which is the Democrat platform now, which is socialism or communism, whatever you want to call it. But more simply is that we magically can figure out a way we don't have to work for a living. Really, that's what it is. And look at how many years, decades, trillions of human hours have been arguing through politics about this. Like, dude, I'm not arguing with people who say, well, I want free money. I'm not arguing. It's too late. We'll find out. Starvation will teach you all. The gulags will teach you all. So lady, well, women don't like men and we're not going to have kids. Yeah, I guess we don't have kids then. I'm not going to look, if women can be conditioned to not be nice and to mar their bodies, that's a problem I don't want to solve. It's not my responsibility. I'm not at fault for that. Women did it to themselves. They can get themselves out of it. Space Cowboy, $5. As long as they feel it was profitable, that's all that matters. That's right. Just me, if it just saves one life. What about the 7 lives it killed? But those are white men. Oh, wait, Jesus. Oh my God, sorry. Reen, $5. I think one thing curious that has proven to be a huge factor that was not considered in previous times was attitudes. It's a huge factor on society. And I was confused about like attitudes in dating, attitudes in working, like the attitude, just the meme, the motif for the personality you take on, like the dude bro, finance bros, like they're wearing cardigans wrapped around their shit. I didn't understand the attitudes. Swallow Blue, $5 says layoffs skyrocketed and no jobs are hiring. What happened to all the debt these people have accumulated that no one can pay off? As I said before, kind of like with housing, if you can't afford housing, you change your behaviors. Just as your body will cut off blood to your extremities to keep the organs alive. If you get cold, it's the same thing here. Humans will change. I mean, go look how people in the Philippines live. They live in squalor a lot of times. I saw one guy just buck naked in his backyard, washing with rainwater. Right? You can get by. You'll live at home. You'll get get rid of your car. Yeah, a lot of people, what they'll do is they get rid of their stuff, and a lot of times, if they can default on it or declare bankruptcy, they will. And they're going to collections. And we got to babysit American adult children, and they get the settlement. And okay, we'll agree, and just it'd be easier if you just didn't have collection agencies because you guys paid off. You paid back your I frankly don't even know why banks or credit card companies lend money. I know it's because you make money, but the pain you got to go through to get it. So yeah, these people will inevitably, if they can't pay it, they can't pay it, right? Then they'll declare bankruptcy. Then they won't be able to afford a house for 7 years, and then they'll not get as good employment, and then basically their lives fucking suck because they wanted to buy cool shit in their early 20s, and they said that's totally worth ruining the rest of my fucking life forever. Welcome to the trailer park of Wyoming. Mexi Man and Cheese, 10 generous bucks, says a millennial. I'm tired of them complaining that we were lied to about college. I remember the propaganda and its transparency. Most of them were more excited for the free money than the education right. And most people went to college, including my generation, because it was fun. It was a party. It was their birthright. Uh, everyone knows what they're doing deep down inside. They're just lazy sacks of shit who don't want to work, and they have every right to be angry. I get it. They have every right to be angry. But it's you guys. The millennials are 40 years old. Okay, yep, you were lied to. Yep. It's like you got divorced when you were 25 and it's 15 years later and you're still bitching about your ex. Like, dude, can you, or I don't know, millennials, could you work a second job and just pay off your student loans? I should be equally critical of Gen X because Gen X to this day still has the largest share of student loan debt, which is even more worse, more badderer. 55 years old, average millennial or Xer. You guys have student loan debts. Fucking losers. Hate speaker Sargon of Akkad, 20 generous dollars. Are you a fan of mate suppression, the age of the last man? I had to look up what mate suppression was, and that basically is a phenomenon in the animal kingdom, not just relegated to humans, where animals, humans included, avoid having sex or avoid having children or end their offspring in fear that having offspring at that moment would lessen the chances of overall survival. And I said that's why I am pro-choice, because there are worse lives than being ended through the A word. You're not conscious. You're alive. I'll grant you that. It might be murder. I don't know. I don't have to make this decision. I don't care. That's a them problem. Ladies, abortion is a you problem. Not my problem, not my concern, not my responsibility. I'm just thinking, yeah, you might be killing someone. That might actually be murder. What's it talking about? Oh, but the reason I'm for that is there are times where instances where if you're going to raise your kid in a piss poor home, that torture is a worse life than not existing at all. I don't believe in Christianity or religion that every life is precious. If that was the case, you Christians would do a hell of a lot better job raising your children. So please shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And it's more economics, it's resources. Like if there's a war happening or there just isn't enough crops, having three mouths to feed that weren't there before could end the whole family at that moment in time. Whereas if you had zero mouths to feed, you and the wife can get through 2 years of a famine, and then you can have kids when there's 7 years of feast. Sorry, I'm sorry about all the math. I'm really sorry about all the math. I'm sorry, I'm practical. Reen, $5. Carl Benjamin and many others are covering women complaining men aren't approaching them. I'm curious, are we reaching the crescendo of men leaving? No, the crescendo means that's going to go down. I also think we've achieved cruising speed, a new normal. All I said was that men's demand for women lowered itself to the supply. That's all it was. I know women are complaining men aren't asking women out. If women wanted to supply more women to the dating market at any moment they can, there probably is that excess demand. But when you look at what women look like, overweight, tatted up, blah, 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 a deterring personality or attitude, and I said before, same problem that the dating apps face is men aren't going to ask you out unless there's some level of success. If there's no success and a success leads to a date that is tooth pulling and not an enjoyable experience, men will stop it. I mean, I've said it before. If I were to go back and do it all over again, I would have cashed in 80% of my dates just to have a good night's rest because it didn't go anywhere. It wasn't fun. Certainly wasn't worth the pursuit costs. I think this is boys are just realizing it. They have the internet. The curtain's been pulled back. Men know what a date. Look, what was it? Now, even if there's been different movies or video games. Look, we're lucky if we get any men on the beach. If we do land men on the beach, we're lucky if we can establish a beachhead. And then if the beachhead is established, we're going to be lucky if it could get resupplied. And then this assumes a fourth thing that they don't send in reinforcements. Now, if by some miracle all 5 things happen, like it's got to go right so many times. First, you got to go ask out a bunch of girls. You got to ask out about 5 girls to get one to go out with you. So you're getting shot down 80% of the time. That's already kind of defeating and tiring. It's exhausting for the average man. Then you get a date with a girl. Dude, you got to go out with 10 of them before one of them sleeps with you. I didn't have to do it. Shut up, you lying sack of shit. Right? I was better than average. I think I'm in between the average guy and the alpha. I'm not an alpha, but I'm better than average. So I'm going to say you're going to have to go on 10 dates with each girl before you get to the third date with 3 of them. So 3 out of the 10, and then only one of those 3, 1 out of the 10 is going to sleep with you. Holy fucking shit. And the guy said, just pay for it. You damn right, just pay for it. You goddamn right. Look, if women wanted men to date them, then go on dates more. Say yes. Be more attractive. And then start governing your own women when they say, don't approach us. We're going to file complaints. Like, look, this is a you problem, ladies. Go complain to yourself in the mirror. And what's real sad when we're going to have to realize men are okay with the new normal. Not that they have a choice. They're okay with it. But the same thing with the dating apps. Oh my God, Bumble's going bankrupt. Like, well, did any of you girls say yes to dates? And not only say yes, but show up on the dates? No. The app where all you had to do, ladies, was say hi, match and say hi. You couldn't even do that, huh? This is whining and complaining that men are not doing the heavy lifting once again when it comes to approaching. They're done. You want men to ask you out more? Well, be prettier, be thinner, be nicer, be more inviting, drop the handkerchief, as they say, and then go on dates. Because right now, men, dude, the standing up and flaking, why would a guy waste, really? And if you could dare me to be so bold, how about you start fucking guys again, huh? Was that? So that's ultimately what men want. Oh my God, what do you do? You just want one thing. Yes, they do. You want men to ask you out, you must consider what they want. They want to fuck. Oh my God, dirty, gross, disgusting people. It's funny how this entire race, the human race, was found on dirty, disgusting people's incentives. But no, it's not a crescendo. I think this is a new normal. We'll be here. Look, at any point in time, look, there could be a new era where women are like, hey, how you doing? I made you cookies. What, and there'd be like a year or two, like, this is a trick. What's going on? And then you just find out, no, we really sorry. We want men again in our lives. We didn't know the feminists and the boomer women and the Gen X women and the millennial women we just really want you guys back again. Like, okay, we'll find out soon. Look, we'll find out soon enough if you girls want to go date again. We'll find out. Don't worry, we got men in the field. We'll find out. There's no better authority and expert on women's interest in men than men. Men are experts on women's interest in themselves. Potato sauce, 5 Australian. I need them to keep girl bossing for the benefit of my investment portfolio. Let's go quickly, ladies. I said, see, that's a racist phrase now. I can't say chop twice in a row. That's bad. Potato sauce, 10 Australian. This is tragedy, Cappy. I came to the realization that girl bosses were happy to trade their finite lives for fake money to spend on crap they don't need and rent in perpetuity. That's what they chose. You and I and everyone else could say, well, wait, they could have liked this. They could have liked that. They could have had this. They didn't. They chose what they chose. I think you guys need to empirically accept that. It wasn't an act. They didn't act like they chose a college degree and then secretly had gotten married, although a couple gals have done that. They've made it very clear. Apex Guitar Institute, still waiting to see the results from all the chicks on social media who are making money moves like 10 years ago. I said to look at the women with degrees hashtag and see where they all are, but you don't have to, because I did a video called Women with Degrees, Where Are They Now 10 years later? Because it was about 9 years ago they did that, and it's where you'd expect them to be, bankrupt. Pooping while standing, $2. Scott Adams was right. Again, Cincinnati represent. Yep. That was the first one. Yeah. You Democrats want to vote to get assaulted and assailed. You want to vote to have no cops. You want to treat different groups of people as perpetual little children who never have to take on responsibility. Guess what? You will create your Frankenstein monsters and they will attack you. Can you carry guns in Cincinnati? Is Ohio a pro-gun, pro-stand-your-ground state? Or did your white women get in charge of you again and say, no, you must die for randos on this street? All right, there we go. Questions, answers, AssholeConsulting.com. Hopefully that came in better audio. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.